What is up, everybody out there tonight tuning in? Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the Bigfoot Report. I'm Wayne, your host, and I'm so grateful to have every one of you hanging out with us tonight. Before we get started, I want to address the elephant in the room, or I guess the elephant, the giraffe that's not in the room, I guess I should say. Miss Tiffany is not here. She has decided. Well, I guess the winds of change have blown her way. She is on to bigger and better things, and wish her nothing but the absolute best. She is my little sister. I love her so much. The show has just grown so much with her. She's responsible for so much of it. Still love her. Not going to get into a whole lot of details. And I wish her nothing but the best. She's been my little sister for a few years now, and she knows a lot of my secrets. I know a lot of hers, and think nothing but the best of her. I love her, and she is going to go on to do amazing things. Thank you so much for the time that you gave us, Tiffany. We love you, and we're going to miss you. You're beautiful, you're talented, you're lovely, you're awesome, and I thank you for everything. So, moving on from that. Obviously, there's some changes coming up. It's just going to be me for a little while. I don't know how long, but I used to do it by myself all the time, so ain't nothing new to me. Just be a little more work. So, going to do some, make some other changes like the podcast. Those of you that listen to the podcast and not just catch it here, y'all have noticed that I do all of the paying of the bills and the call to actions at the end of the show. So I think I'm going to give that a shot and try to start getting to our guests a little bit quicker. But that being said, there are a couple of things that I need to ask of you at the beginning. One of which being our membership. It is always open. We would love to have you. Let me just go ahead, pop that up. $1.99 a month if you'd like to become a member, get some extra perks. I'm going to continue to do the members only shows and the Discord, all of that cool stuff. Try to be more active. Try to make it more positive moving forward. So I do want to make that available to you guys as always. And the Cash App and the Venmo, want to give you guys the opportunity from the very beginning to take advantage of that. Y'all have always been great with the super stickers. We have certainly, we've recently been asking you to help us out this way. We don't get hit with near the fees, and we don't have to wait a month to get the money. It comes directly to us. So you see at the bottom there, the Cash App and the Venmo are always open. If you guys can help us out, or help me out, I guess, because I'm the only one now, I would greatly appreciate it. We'll do all the other stuff at the end. All right, everybody. I am so very excited to have our guest backstage. Real quick, I want to say thank you so much, Stormy. Stormy just hit me with a $20 Venmo. Thank you, ma'am. Very much appreciated. Our guest backstage, we had her on. I don't think it's been a month ago. It's been a few weeks, but everyone loved her. Her stories were amazing. She comes from a Native American background. Guys, she sent me some pictures today that I can't explain. I don't know what we're looking at in these pictures. It's hair. It's absolutely hair. But it's like 6 feet of hair, like dreaded. And we're going to show that to you. I'll bring that up early before we really get into anything, because I don't know what the hell they found. I want her to talk about that and tell everybody, kind of what to expect. But all of that being said, well, before we do, let me just say hello to everybody in the chat that has joined us. Troy, what's up, buddy? Been talking to you today. Always fun. Alex, still the best $1.99. Thank you, buddy. Chris Blaylock, I love you, man. You are amazing. Robert, my brother from another mother, thank you so much for hanging out, buddy. Bobby Sledge, where you been, man? You're a neighbor now. You live like 10 minutes down the road. Where have you been? Thanks for tuning in, Bobby. Appreciate it very, very much. Ristel, as always, he is always here. Erica, thank you so much, ma'am. Enjoyed spending time with you last weekend. Stormy, you know how we feel about you, ma'am. Thank you so much for hanging out. And there are others, but I'm just not seeing them. Other people will tune in. Goonie Goo Goo, hit us with the $1.99 as always. That $2 a week we can count on. That's like taxes right there. You know, we can count on that $2 a week from Goonie. Thank you, buddy. All right. Alan, what's up, buddy? Alan from Cadillac, Michigan. My Great Dane brother. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kevin Jones. Kevin, you know I love you, buddy. We've been talking a little bit recently. Thank you for tuning in. All right, let's get to our guest, Miss Donna. Oh God, I hope I pronounced this right. Capus. She's going to correct me right now.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing very, very well. Pronounce your last name, ma'am.
Copus.
Copus. I knew I had it right. I'm smarter than the average bear.
Yep. Believe me, it's been pronounced. One time I got it was like cowpuss. Like what? So.
I lost my headphones. Hold on, guys. You said cowpuss? Is that what you said?
No, cowpuss. It was somebody. It's like what? And there's like, is that how you? I was like, no, you got to do copus. I was like, cow.
All right. Well, you came on a few weeks ago, and it was a great show. Everyone loved it. Everyone was asking for you to come back, and I thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me tonight. It's awesome of you. You sent me some pictures today, and I don't know what the hell to make of these pictures. Maybe you do. I don't think you do, because judging our conversation. But I'm just going to go ahead and pop them up and tell me what in the hell y'all found and where.
Well, that is a humongous amount of hair. There's no skin on it. It's like dreadlock. It's about 6 foot long, and it's wide. It's like a foot and a half, 2 feet wide. It's huge. I mean, I actually stood on the chair and held it. I'm 5'3", and it's way longer than I am tall. I do hikes. I hike 10 miles. But I have a special place I go to. It's waterfalls. And we found all kind of stuff there before. I found like the petrified foot. I don't know if I sent you a picture or not, but it's like stone. It has 3 toes, and you can see the claws in that. There's 2 of them. One is independent and flat. You can see the bones in the back of it where it's petrified. The other one's in a stone. Well, that waterfalls. It's right here. My son saw it sticking up out of the ground. Of course, we've had a lot of rain and, some flooding. And so he started pulling. And the more he's pulling, the more of that is coming out. More and more and more. And finally, I said, stop. Because there's more there. There's more. And I said, stop, because then it started clicking in my head. I was like, well, wait, because we could be messing up DNA, that kind of thing. It smells like skunk, wet earth. Of course, it's in the ground, and there's some little, like sticks and vines, because it's in the ground. We literally pulled it out of being buried. It was buried. What it is, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it. I have no idea. What is this 6 foot long clump of dreadlocked hair doing buried?
I mean, it's like it's coarse. It's like human hair, but very coarse human hair. I did have a taxidermist look at it, And he's like, I don't know what the heck that is. He's like a beefalo, but they don't have that kind of long hair, and and that's all together. It's like it was like you would cut somebody's uh, dreadlocks off. But there's no skin. There's no skin attached to it. It's just the hair. Like
Kevin, to answer your question, she's in Ohio.
yep.
Are
Mhm.
you in northern, southern what?
Southeast. Southeast.
Southeast Ohio, and this was found under a waterfall.
Yeah, their waterfall. I on there's like two waterfalls there, and this one there's like my grandson has found. Like I said, there's petrified foot is like it's huge. Um, I might have sent you a picture of it, but it you can see like the nails are like maybe 2.5, 3 inch long
The
nails.
nails?
They're nails, like claws, and you can see that petrified in that stone foot. Well, it's not, it's a petrified foot, so it's turned to stone, like whatever. But it's like a dinner plate size, a big dinner plate size. So whatever it was massive. And there's two of them. We found two. The one is she just got it out. The other one is actually attached to a rock. There's like a big rock, and it's sitting in top of it.
Now I'm
Um,
trying to. I want to go back, Donna. You said claws. I don't see
it's like
where.
it was like you take your fingers, like you put your fingers out like this,
Okay.
and there's the claw. It's like claws. Like as long as your fingers is, that's how long the claws are. It's like nails, but it's like long, like you would grow your nails out, and like pterodactyl claws or something. Like claws are in that. It's
I want to see this in person because
Jeremy,
I
can
feel
you
like
hold your
the
bag?
pictures aren't really doing it much justice.
No, uh, I had a few over the last couple weeks. Well, I did your show, and then the next week, Mike Miller had did your show. I was listening to it because he comes here. Actually,
Hmm.
do I guide
Yeah.
them sometimes,
Yeah.
and he was doing you and so we're doing his calls. Well, where I'm sitting at, my house sits up against the woods, and I have my bathroom window open because, like all country people, I take my dryer vent off in the wintertime. And when I run my dryer, it heats my bathroom, helps to heat it. I had to put it
Nice.
on, so I have a great big window. It's like I can walk out it, and I just let it back. Well, I've been sitting listening to the podcast, getting to the end with the calls. And I went back there and I was going, like, oh crap, I forgot that window open. Of course, the creek's right there. Within 10 feet of my window, there's the creek and there's a big tree. I heard something and I got this whiff of, I get this whiff of the kind of skunky smell. And so I had no screen in this window. There's no screen. I had the phone in my hand because I'm listening to your show on my phone. So I stuck my phone out and I took two pictures. And I sent you those pictures of the face that I got that night. So
Yeah.
um,
I couldn't make much out, and
there's
I mean, to be honest, on this show, Donna, we don't really share a whole lot of pictures that can't
okay,
be really
right,
judged to what they are.
right. It just believe me, if you see it, not seeing it, sending it to you, but you see it on my phone, you would see what I was talking about.
Okay.
But it was a big surprise. My granddaughter, who's 7, she's been staying with me since school was out. And she had told me she saw something looking in the window. I thought, kid being kid, she just reflection or whatever. But it scared her so bad that she went home. She won't stay. But and then I found that um, a few days later. I found that, but I honestly,
I mean, this is one of the coolest things I've seen, and you only sent it to me today.
Yeah,
or maybe
yeah.
yesterday, and I don't know what the hell to make of that much hair.
I well, you
What
see how big
has that much hair, and what dreads it like that?
it is. I talked to Tim
Could you have
Vogel.
found the corpse of a Bigfoot, and that was just hair that come off of it? I mean, I don't know what y'all
I
think.
honestly, I have talked to different people. I talked to the taxidermist. I talked to Tim sometimes, and he's like, well, I was worried. I was like, well, I touched it, so I probably messed up any DNA. I put, ours is in there where we pulled it.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, just maybe try to find a spot where you didn't touch it and cut a piece out that way. But he's like, I suggest that you put it away right now, and then um, he's.
So,
I think he's.
What do you have it secured in? What do you have it stored in, Donna?
I took like a garment bag, like what you from dry cleaner
I know
garment
exactly
bag,
what you're talking about.
and I kind of put it down in there.
Did you like
And
vacuum seal it?
I haven't vacuum sealed it, but I kind of put it down in there and sealed because it was wet. So you can imagine it's drying. You can see, like I said, there's sticks and little vines where it's been there for a while because the vines has grown through it. Like little teeny tiny vines that's grown through it.
I want to
So
know what the hell this is.
I honestly I don't know.
We
I
need to stay on top of this. Like, stay in
so
touch with me and get this turned in. I'll talk to whoever I need to. I have connections, people I know through the community, to see who we can talk to. Maybe even cut it up, like send samples of. You ain't got to send the whole thing to somebody.
Oh, that's what Tim had suggested. He's like, cut it, maybe go into the center, put gloves on, be careful, and try to find a place, where you haven't touched, so we could just get, you know, um,
I've never,
pull.
I've never heard anywhere,
I, I,
like
I don't know.
History Channel, nothing of people finding a 6 foot long
Don't,
clump of hair
I
that looks
don't
like
know.
Bigfoot hair. That looks like what should be on a Bigfoot.
I don't. We don't have beefalo or that kind of stuff around here. There's none of. That's certainly not horse hair. That's not cattle hair.
No,
Sheep. Um, uh, uh,
human.
I don't.
It looks like long ass human hair.
That's exactly what it looks like, and it looks like a person that dreadlocked. Uh,
Yep.
since since they were born. I
It
don't know
looks
if
like
you can.
I call them white boy dreads. There's a difference between white boy dreads and
Yeah,
then the African American guys, the black
right.
guys, their dreads, because that's like more braided and stuff. But that looks like white boy dreads to me.
Can you see what I'm saying?
Let
Here's
me
the
take this
here's
off
the foot.
quick. Where is it? Why can't I find? Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Can you
What
see
is
it?
that?
This is the foot.
The foot of what?
I have no idea. You see how big it is? And now see on the end. See
That's
the
creepy as hell too.
this is where this came where that came from, this where this came from.
Is that a cast or is that a bone?
No, this is shine the light on it. No, it's making it too much. Back off. It's too much.
What the fuck are we
It's
looking
it's
at?
it's is petrified like stone. But if you could see, I don't know. Move back, Jeremy, because it's too.
That looks like alien shit right there.
So, but can you see the
Yeah.
toes?
Yeah.
See, there's 3 toes, and this is smooth. Right here, it's like the nail. You see,
Yeah.
2, 3.
And that was in the same
There was
area?
another. Now there was another right here, but it's broken off.
Okay.
Um, and this is what the backside of it looks like.
And
So
did y'all find that in the area of the hair?
yeah, same place, same waterfalls. So I have no idea what he found this a few years ago, But we find artifacts there. I found all kind of native artifacts, arrowheads, paint pots, ceremonial type things. Um, so um, I don't, because like I said, I'm in the country. So when it floods, that little creek, it washes down for miles and miles and miles. When I first bought the property, it was vacant. There's nothing here. They had logged out really, really old timber. My water comes from springs. I don't have city water. I have springs that feed my house. I don't even have a well pump.
It's good water.
Yeah. Um, and that was the first thing I looked for because, like, I still do the old ways. I still harvest the roots. I have my own. Well, my dad, when I bought the place, there's 23 acres. He handed me this great big giant tin can of ginseng berries, and he's like, "Now, go plant them, and you'll always have money in the bank." Meaning, which is true. My saying, I never take anything less than a 4 prong, and then it's always all my berries are replanted. So, and it's about $1,000 a pound. So, at the end of the year, if I need extra money or I want to harvest, yeah, I do. But I have the other roots too. I have yellow root. I have everything. It's kind of. I don't let anybody on my property. I don't. If I hunt, I just hunt for food, or I'm going to donate it, or I don't.
Yeah.
It's kept private. So.
Well, I
People don't.
definitely, I definitely hope that you and I can stay in touch. As just find out what the hell is going on with that hair and that possible foot. Because I mean, if any way I can help you to get answers, I definitely will. I'll start asking around. Maybe you already have an avenue to get some answers, but I would like to get them.
It that was a surprise. I've never seen. I've never found. And you know what else happened though? Because I found that, and I took as soon as I brought it in, it was wet. I took those pictures. There's like 2 pictures. That's all I got. The next morning, I decided I laid it out on my couch so it would be the full length, and I wanted to get a picture. Because I was talking to Tim, and my it wouldn't let me. I could not take the picture. It would not let my phone work. It would not. I tried another camera. I tried another phone. No way. So
It wouldn't let it like
I
physically
could
would
not.
not let you take a
I
picture.
could not take a picture. I mean, I took other
WTF?
pictures with the same thing, and it worked fine. But when I tried to do that, it wouldn't. It wouldn't work. Now I've experienced that before because I have different places that I go, and
Hmm.
there's a cave that I do gifting in, and it happens there when I get close because I go in. Of course, you have to have a flashlight or something. My flashlights won't work. My batteries go dead as soon as I get close. So I keep an old time torch with you wrap the rag and put the kerosene on it, and
Yep.
I keep those at the entrance. So when I go in, that is my light. Because I make my cakes and that kind of things. I leave in there. That's my gifting site. So I'm used to some of the hum and knocking your batteries out, that kind of stuff. Um, but I was like, I don't know. I got those 2 pictures and I was amazed. I was like, why won't it work now? Because I got those two, but when I just literally just brought it, pulled it and brought it in. So I don't know. I can't explain that one either. Don't have an explanation for it, but
No, unfortunately, we don't.
it
We
was
don't know
weird.
enough about them.
Um,
All
you
right.
know,
Well, from when we had you on last, I know a lot of people were very, very interested in some of these stories from your elders, like your grandparents, and because you're Native American,
right.
and I know
Fine.
all kind of stories have had to have been passed down,
Yep.
and I know I would personally would love to hear some of those. If there's a few of those that you can share with us, just experiences, things they learned, things they experienced, or just anything. It doesn't have to be creepy. Just what your people experience from these things.
Well, like I said, with us, We call them the Watchers. I've been attacked over that name, talking about the angels that came down and bred with the humans. But that's not what we mean when we say Watchers. We
Yeah.
mean these are our protectors that watches over us. I don't get into the religious thing or anything like that. Um, but what I did say was, we're Shawnee. We didn't have a Bible. White man brought the Bible, and I have nothing against the Bible or religion. I was raised both ways. I want to make that very clear. We call him Creator, the Great Spirit, and with the story that was told about how the Watchers came to be, um, the Moonlight people came. They had children with our people, not just our people. I don't think. I think other tribes or other races, whatever, and they were left behind as our protectors of those children. And what I do know is, and I've talked to different people about, like, the negative, the RH factor, the negative blood. My whole family has that. I mean, to the point that it gets very dangerous at times because of the blood disorder. Um, that was one of
Like the blood type you're talking about?
Yes, the blood type, because the negative, if you search back, you find out that negative came into effect um, after this was something they found later on. And with that RH factor, it seems like anybody that has a lot of interactions with the Watchers will be of a negative blood. So I've had stories told about that from my elders. We talked about the dog man. Again, I'm not real sure. I did have that last year in October was the first time I saw anything that I even thought was a dog man. And it wasn't here on my property or close to me. This was
So your elders, your ancestors didn't talk much about the dog man?
They did tell me the story. They said the dog men were created by the shaman to
Okay.
help battle. There was a battle going on that some of uh, the medicine men, the shaman had turned bad, and they were doing bad things, and they were using the Watchers to help them do this. And the Watchers had turned bad with them. That's the reason my dad always said there's good and there's bad. You have to be very careful. Um, I have things that I have to do, I have special sites that I do special things in. And but at that time, they said they created the dog men to help them battle the Watchers. They had to have something of equal strength because they're a lot stronger than humans.
Wow. Okay.
Now, the dog men is two different things. There is the warriors that are the dog men, and they're fierce warriors. And when they went into battle, they put a leash around themselves and they staked themselves to the ground, and they fought to the death. They never unleashed themselves through that whole battle. They would not pull. They would, under penalty of death, would they ever pull that leash. They are anchored down and they stay there till they either win or they die. That is the way. That's another form of the
Yeah,
dog.
that don't sound very fun.
And, well, like I said, my lineage is from what we call the Ice Maiden. It was a female warriors, very, very fierce warriors. And like I said before, they always said, pray to God the men get you, not the women. You don't want them to get you. And
Amen.
so
Amen.
they were a very special sect. And my training, I was taken when I was 12. I grew up being taught different things, but at the age of 12 is when you go to the cave, and that's when your training starts. So, but as far as the Watchers, I've always seen them. When I was 6 when Dad introduced me the first time to them. He taught me, like, the stones, the marker stones, the tree shelter, all that, what it means. I've never, like I said, I had a couple of things that happened that was kind of violent, but they weren't really directed towards me. Um, Last year, I actually almost had a log thrown through my windshield because I was leaving early in the morning to go pick up another family member to take them. And um, a doe deer, there was like a 10-foot bank, and she come flying out in front of my car. She dove off. She didn't go down the bank. She dove off and just splattered four legs out into the road. And I stopped. She's scared, just terrified. She's, like gets up and finally gets across the road. And I went about 50 more feet when the fawn came off the same bank. And I look up and I'm thinking something's chasing him. And there on the bank is a juvenile, and he has a log of probably 6 foot long, probably 12 inches. It's a big, and it's broken off. And he's got it up, and I'm thinking, crap, it's going to go through my windshield just any second. And at the last second, he threw it to the side, and he did like a teenager huffing, he's mad. So he stomps and he huffs, and he threw it to the side, and he went back up through the woods. But I guess that was his way of saying, you just screwed me over. I didn't get no breakfast. But
So you witnessed this juvenile Sasquatch?
yeah, they we had all that logging. There's the big area. It's like 400 acres where they mostly stay, and they were logging that out really bad. So they were traveling around, moving. That's when we had more sightings. Other people had sightings too, but thank God they've quit logging and they've moved back up into the valley. The Shawnee name for this valley is the Valley of the Dead, because not only it's a burial, we have our mounds there. We have some old village sites, and you see some creepy things there at times. You see the orbs. I seen a child. Where they were logging, they actually drug logs through a burial, and I was walking around through there, and they tore out a lot of stones. And as I come around the curve, I look. There's another girl with me, and I go, "Oh, there is," and she goes, "Child," and it's because she finished my sentence. She saw it at the same time I did, and it's just like poof, it's gone. So things were disturbed, but which kind of made things a little hectic around here. I know people ask me about the watchers and cemeteries.
Good question. Good question.
The watchers, like I said, you have your own watch. I have my watcher. My dad had his, which he's very old. But when you pass away, they follow you to that cemetery. Shawnee believe in reincarnation. So the watchers wait for that soul to be reincarnated. They watch. So there's a whole thing about stone eggs, and that would be a very long conversation. But so there is a reason that they're there. I mean, it's not like they're creepy and trying to eat bodies or anything like that. They're actually watching. They're watching their charges.
Yeah, but what is it about? I mean, I've heard so many stories about Bigfoot sightings around cemeteries. A couple of our active areas are near cemeteries. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
is it, I mean, there's so much speculation, and that's all that it is at this point is speculation. Are they like, honoring the dead? I mean,
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. If you look in that cemetery, here's your clue. Whatever cemetery you're going through, go to that cemetery and look for the dates on the tombstones. And
Okay.
you will find something dating back to early 1800s or something like that.
Yeah.
Even you're going to find old graves.
1700s.
And when you find those old graves and you're setting up to do research or whatever, you're going to find out that they're going to be hanging around those old graves. Those are their charges.
But why?
So
Why are they hanging around the old graves, Donna?
that's because like me, I have my own watcher. He's mine. He's going to watch over me till I die. And when I die, he will come to my grave and watch over my grave. So
When does he die?
honestly, my dad would be like 100 years old if he was alive. His watcher is still here. He's very old, And so, you know, I can't tell you. I don't know, I can't say that they don't die because I actually witnessed something last year that I'm not allowed to talk about. I was told very thoroughly to shut my mouth and not talk about it.
Told
And I
very
have,
thoroughly by who?
well, I can't say that where other people will hear me say that, but
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I could maybe discuss that with you later.
Okay.
It was a very disturbing thing that happened. And because like I said, I go through the woods all the time. I have different areas. I have access to places that other people don't get into. And it was a very horrifying and very, I just cried. I was just so, but within about 3 days, I got contacted and told to, mind my manners and keep it quiet. So I have to honor their wishes to get so that I can have access to where I need to go. I have to honor their wishes.
I get the feeling there's so much more you're not telling us.
Yeah, well, um, I am a little older, and I have been taught. And my dad, like I said, last 2 years of Dad's life, he shared everything with me. He taught me. He cautioned me because he was very protective of. They're protective of us. We're protective of them. They're our family. It was like, you're crazy. There's no such thing. You're nuts. Or I got family members that tell us like, whatever. That's everybody to their own opinion. Opinions like buttholes. Everybody has one. So yes, whatever. So,
Yeah, you're right.
but I don't argue about. My rules. I don't argue about religion. I don't argue about politics, and everybody can have their own opinion, and I'll have mine. So, um, it's
Is there looking back, the stories that were passed down to you? I don't know how to word this because I don't want to say. Let's try this. Is there a story that was passed down to you where a human like us, you or your family, your natives, was protected by a Sasquatch? Does anything like that ring a bell, or
oh
do you know anything?
yeah. Last year when I got hit with the flying cooler, if it hadn't been for my feller coming flying, he's a little feller. He ain't big like the old man. If he had not, he came down through there like a bat out of hell. I don't know what would have happened to me. I mean, maybe he'd have just tromped over top of me and went on because he was mad. But mine came through those woods, and he was there,
But
and he.
like growing up, like from like your mother, your father, your grandparents, does something were they protected like from something else by a Sasquatch? I mean,
Oh,
that's
you
kind
mean
of getting.
like animal wise, or where they came
Yeah,
out?
just yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had I had an experience. I was like 9, and again, I hated school. I was terrible. I hated school, and I had skipped school, went down through the woods, and um, again, I was on this big 300-acre farm. Um, there's a big hollow log, and my dog wouldn't go near it. It skittered away. I went over the log, and as I went over the log, there was a black panther came out the end of the log. So, yeah, I got escorted back up the hill.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I missed that. Go ahead.
Okay, did you lose me completely, or did you get
I
in?
did. Go ahead and repeat that.
Okay, well, like I said, I was 9, and I lived on the big farm. It's like 300 acres, and I hated school. I was always
Okay.
running away, skipping. I had to walk out to the school bus, and I thought that day I was okay because I thought he'd already left for work. So when I go down, I'd have to walk out, and then I go down the hill, and then I'd go off through the woods past the springs and hit the creek, and then I'd end up back up in the barn. But on that day, I went down through, and I had my dog with me, and there was a big hollow log across the creek, and my dog wouldn't go near it. She skidded up around the hill. When I clumb over it, and as I went over, there was a black panther came out the end of the log. I know people say, "Oh, there's no black panther." They're full of crap. They are here. They have always been here, and so needless to say, it scared the bejeebies out of me. And it's standing there looking at me, and I'm thinking, I got to get back up the hill. I got to get to the barn. And of course, Dad's a trapper and a hunter, so he's beating my head. Don't run. Whatever you do, something. Don't run. You run, you become prey. Yeah. So I start moving slow, but as I'm moving slowly up through there, because I've had mine has been around too, and it followed in the woods, and that it was between me and that cat. The cat came behind too, but it didn't he wasn't. It was behind, but it would not come past him. So by the time I got up to the barbed wire fence, where my dad was waiting on me, let me tell you, and I fell through the fence, and I was like, only thing I could say was cat, cat, cat. And Dad promptly turned me around and kicked me in the butt and broke his toe. He had 10 shoes on. But he's like, I told you. So there's different times. I go into the woods all the time, but I'm cautious, but I always feel their presence. I don't feel. I was a little concerned with when I got the picture at the bathroom window the other night. I was kind of concerned, not so much for myself, but because my granddaughter was here. And then I kind of got to thinking, you know what? Maybe that is a young one, and it's not here for me. Maybe it's here for her because she's with me, and maybe that's hers.
Now that's a scary thought. I mean, now what do you mean there for her?
Because they start when you're young. They attach themselves to you.
Protecting, not like
no, that's not going to hurt her. Okay. But when they're young, they're unpredictable. And my granddaughter is 7, and she got scared of. She comes outside, pitch black, ass dark, to my house. She does not get scared, and coyote scares me. And they're coming in close here. I have bobcats that's coming in close into my barn, and that's what I'm afraid she'll walk out on. But then, I think about things. I try to rationalize, what is this or what could that be? And then I got to thinking, either it's a young one that's lost its mom, and it's not smart enough yet to stay as hidden as it should, or the ability hasn't developed enough. Because you got to think about these things are big, but they're young. Even when they're babies, they're big. And as they grow up, I mean, it could be the same age as her. It could be 7, whatever in that years, but it's going to be way far, far bigger, So I thought, well, maybe that's hers. But if there's one child that is truly more like me than anybody else, it's her. I mean, I have other granddaughters, but they don't. They're more cautious. They never was. She just isn't afraid. She just is not afraid. I was like, that worries me, because Dad did pound that in my head. You be cautious. Use your brain. There's good and bad in everything, and you don't know what's going to be what. So I'm still kind of scratching my head on that one, but trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, the whole aspect of Bigfoot and Native Americans just fascinates me. I have so many thoughts and questions and everything. Like, the cave drawings,
Mm.
totem poles. We've seen totem poles with these things that look like a Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
There's
what is that? Can you speak to that at all?
well, like I said, I have a family member that he's a paleographer. He deciphers ancient languages, and we have traveled a bit and to a lot of the petroglyph sites, which you will find references to the Watchers. You'll see. Um, we have one. It's in Jackson here. It's Leo Petroglyph site. And when you pull into the parking lot, they put the petroglyph site is actually under a shelter, so you can just drive up and get out and walk over there and see it. It's kind of fate, and then people are so terrible about the graffiti and the disrespect. The whole thing. They destroy so much, but you'll find them there. And we have another site here. It's called the Adams County Footprint Site, and in that it actually has the footprints in the story of the Watchers in the Shawnee and a battle that they fought. So it's depicted in the glyphs there. And the amazing thing about that was another stone on top, and the footprint that the foot is down like it would have stepped in it when the rock was hot and just melted down, and it formed that way. It's not mud. This is a stone. Um, and I think it was like 18 inches long. It's pretty massive, but of course somebody came and took the top of the cliff off and took it away. So um, again, it's that's the reason I don't tell sites, because if anybody knows where anything is, even our burial mounds, to this day they will dig up a burial mound. So I'm very cautious on that. But then in the areas where the mounds are, these are in the woods. This isn't a cemetery, or these are mounds in the woods, and the Watchers are in that area. Um, they still guard the sites.
Okay. All right. Well, we have normally we wouldn't get to the questions this quickly, but Jesus Christ, we have a lot. So, people are wanting to know, so we're going to try to get through these as quickly as possible to be respectful of everyone's time. First off, Goony Goo Goo, thank you so much, buddy. You are amazing. Always hitting us with that $1.99 super sticker. My great friend, my brother from another mother, Kevin Jones. Is it going to be sampled? I think he's talking about the hair.
The hair. I think that I'm going to let the one gentleman help me with that, because I'm not a researcher. I don't, I am who I am, and I do what I do. A researcher, I am not. So I have talked to him, and he's given me some advice, and he has somebody. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do.
Okay. All right. Well, that goes along with the next one, Mr. Troy Two Fingers. I know a guy at Vanderbilt University that would love to do DNA on that.
Well, like I said, the one guy I've been for a couple years. He's been really helpful with me, and he's always very honest with me in every way. If he says, "Hey, I think that's crap," then I was like, "Okay, man, you know more than I do." So I'm gonna stick with him, because he's always been there for me. So I'm gonna stick with him. But I
Okay.
will absolutely share whatever I find. I will be.
I mean, I think it's a good idea to maybe get multiple sources, you
Mhm.
know?
Well, I thought about that too. I've seen the taxidermist first, because I thought, well, maybe it's something else, because everybody's like, well, maybe it's a wig, it's a synthetic, you know, blah blah. I was like, it's not, it's not a wig, it's hair, and it's not, it's real. Whatever the hair is, it's real hair. I mean, it's not. It's coarse. It's not a horse's tail. Well, as you can see, how many horses' tail would you have to be that?
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything as strange on this
I
show. like unexplainable than that.
Uh, well, I have seen a lot of things in my life, but honestly, this was the first because you don't find stuff. It's just not.
Yeah.
I mean, a pea. Like I talked about pea. I've seen the pea where they mark their territory,
Yeah.
and it's like thick, gummy, stinky, yucky. And in the times when they're having their babies and giving birth and or mating time, man, it can get really raunchy.
I bet.
Um, I've seen
But you
that.
said this hair smelled like skunk, right?
Yeah, it's got that skunky smell, but it smells like earth. Of course, it was in the ground, so you're going to get that earthy smell, like
Yeah.
leaves, rotten leaves, and so it has an odor. Um,
Yeah. All right. Well,
uh,
let's try to get to the next one. Miss Chris Blaylock. Was that foot found in water?
it was found at the waterfalls in the yeah. It was it
Was it
wasn't.
submerged in water?
It was in the water. Yep. Well, my Jeremy, my grandson, is standing here. Who he is the one that found it. He says yes. It
Okay.
was in the
Okay. All right. Troy, are there caves near where the footprint was found?
Absolutely. We live on top of the cave system here. There's massive caves
Okay.
here.
Okay. Verax, was there more hair left at the waterfall? Was there more hair left at the waterfall?
There is more hair there that we did not pull. Um, I haven't had a chance to go. I've been taking. I have a cousin that has cancer, and I take her every day for her cancer treatment. And my weekends is my free time, but that's also the time I got to do everything else at home that I didn't do the whole week. So I
Yeah.
haven't had a chance to go back, and I didn't want my son to go by himself. So
Okay.
there, where I can walk through the woods and I'm safe, um, the watchers can get a little more unfriendly to him, shall I say? Um, he doesn't bother anybody. He was actually working up by the barns, and that was day before yesterday. And he's like, Mom, I gotta tell you, it's in the tree. It actually broke a tree limb up high above where he was at. And this tree limb is probably about 8-inch tree limb. It's
Mm.
fairly big, which if it would have came down and hit him, it probably would have killed him. I mean, it hit
Yeah.
him in the head. So sometimes they don't like people being real close to me. That's another thing. So I don't know whether they were just protesting him being in that area at that time, or whether they were after more of my chickens, or But so I don't. I just don't want him to go by himself. I'll go back with him.
All right. Moving to the next one, Mr. Troy. How deep underground was the hair buried or slash covered? What was the substrate like? Were there plants growing on top of it? Do you have any pictures of it being removed?
No, I didn't have anything with me. I did not, and I told you, I took a picture of the hair when I got home, and then nothing would work. But what it was like seeing something sticking out from there, like mossy. It's been there long enough for some foliage to grow, and it's like mossy, and over top of it, it wasn't real deep. But again, we had the flooding, which washed that area out. So it could have been down even deeper in the ground, but because the water comes down, and we've had a lot in this area. So, but it was like he just reached down and started pulling, just like a rope, pull, pull, and it's just coming more and more and more, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and that's why, and he actually kind of broke it off from so there quite possibly is something else down in there. Um, when I
Yeah.
think about it, with in regards to seeing them and their their hair, they have long hair too. It's not like well, I guess it would be fur, but it's more hair, and it hangs. It hangs down. So I can't say that's what that is. I don't know what it is. I'm just baffled, but
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. My buddy Kevin, oh my, with the research I'm doing, this is right up my alley. I need to spend some time with this lady. So we will get you in touch, Kevin. All right, moving on. Catherine McSwain, what does Donna think about orbs?
I see orbs in the area, the same area. I actually have them on my trail cams. I have to go up a trail to get back up into there, and I have had massive orbs. It's funny because they come down like they will shoot off the side, and then up the trail, they are different colors, but it's almost like they're following or walking. So yeah, yeah, orbs. I see orbs.
Okay. Troy, when was your very first encounter with the being we commonly refer to as Bigfoot?
I was 6.
6.
6 years old digging roots with my dad.
That's right. You shared that on the first time you were on.
We were digging a yellow root patch, and it was within 30 feet of where I was sitting. Me and Dad had been digging. Like I said, at that time I wanted to go to the fair, and Dad's rules was you have to make so much of your own money. So he took me up there, and we're digging a big yellow root patch. He stood up. My dad just chewed tobacco, and he walked over to that stump. He took his chewing tobacco out and laid it on the stump, and then he told me, "Come on, we're gonna go." And of course, I didn't want to go because I was making my money for the fair. And I kind of grumbled a little bit, and he just got me by the hand, said, "Come on, we're gonna go." And as we walked away, I turned around and looked back, and it was probably 8 foot tall. It stood up right there, took the tobacco, and of course I'm scared. And his dad just kind of shook my hand, said, "Come on now, you leave him alone, he'll leave you alone." And then he walked up through the woods, and we went the other way. And that was the first time I saw. I think that was Dad's introduction for me. It was time for me to learn, and that was what started from then on, my teaching started. The trail markers. I was always in the woods with Dad. Dad trapped for a living. I mean, he trapped, he hunted, he dug the roots. That was part. He had a job. He was a farmer too, but he also did that. My dad was born in 1927 in a log cabin in the woods. And I think he was 3 or 4 when he first saw his first one. So, and my grandma before that.
That's amazing. Robert Matler, my good buddy, what are your thoughts or experiences with LPs? And I don't know what that is. What's an LP?
I don't know what that is. You have to explain to me.
Robert, you're going to have to explain, buddy. Hit us up. And while you are doing so, we will move on. Northwest Native Tracker. Do you know the lore about Gugway?
The Gugway?
Gugway, they're the ones that are called the face eaters. It's like a different type of Bigfoot. I don't know.
Well, I do know there is different sizes. They look different. Like the one thing I was telling you about last summer, the one that I saw then was entirely different from the ones I'm familiar with here. Mine are big and strong and hairy, and she was more feminine, more human-like. Features was more human features. So I do know there's different, I guess maybe it's just like us. We have different races, and maybe they
That's
do
what
too.
I would think. Yeah, that's what I would think. All right, lastly, from Robert, do you feel protected in the woods?
Yeah, I don't. I'm cautious. I'm not, I carry a gun. I don't shoot. Uh, Now, snake or coyote or something like that's coming at me, bobcat, I'll defend myself. And yes, I am a good shot. I've been taught well. But I think as far as shooting one of the watchers, it would probably be non beneficial at all because I don't think a normal, it'd have to be something very big and you'd have to hit them in the right spot. I know
Yeah.
I call it the shimmer. They can be standing right close to you and turn sideways and you won't see them. They have that ability. I think it's like a chameleon type thing. Like it's one of their protections. I don't think it's magical or whatever. I think it's just part of their ability to hide. We got
Yeah.
so the chameleon can hide right in plain sight. A snake can be laying at your feet and you won't see it.
You're exactly right.
I think
You're
that's
right.
important. Yes.
All right, Donna. Is there anything that you're working on? Any projects? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to just share for people to go check out?
Um, well, again, the reason I do this is the Watchers means a lot to me. They're my family. We have a lot of things going on. The world is changing, and with the world changes and our forest coming down, and people putting more homes in, there's going to be more interactions.
Right.
And I'm not out here to make money or be famous or anything like that. The only thing I want to do is to make sure that everybody's protected. Because one day, somebody's going to move into the woods, they're going to have a home, they're going to have a child in the yard, and one of these guys are going to walk out and they're going to freak out. And
Yeah.
just like I said, they are unpredictable. Mostly they'll leave you alone if you leave them alone. But
All
then
right.
you
Well,
have,
real quick, Donna. Getting back to the question from Robert with the LPs. He was talking about the little people. Do
oh,
you
the
have any
little.
experience with those?
I My grandpa was an Irishman. He came here in the 1700s. He was the first one that married the Shawnee woman. So yeah, we I love some stories of the little people and uh, different things. That's been shared that way. Mine is mostly the native heritage, but I do have my grandpa. They called him Red Bill. He had fiery red hair and a big red beard, and he's buried in the woods. So I visited his grave and still tend it. And I have letters from 1797
Wow.
that I
Wow.
handed down to me. So they've been very well preserved. And yeah,
All right. Well, Donna, thank you so much, ma'am, for taking the time to come and hang out with us again. Very, very interesting stuff. I can't get enough of the Native American stuff. Anybody I can talk to learn more, I want to. So I greatly appreciate your time, ma'am.
oh, I had a great time. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
I will on you too.
All right. Bye bye. All right, guys. Good, 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 good stuff. All right, before we get out of here, guys, I hope everyone, before you leave, you will hit that subscribe button. It helps us out so very much. If you have had an encounter and would like to come on and share it, hit me up at Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com. If you have any encounter stories you want to send in, that is the place to do those as well. Also, paranormalworldproductions.com is our website. Please head over there, check out all of the other shows under the umbrella, sign up for the Bigfoot newsletter, all of that cool stuff, pick you up some merch. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Manimalresearch.org is the organization that I founded back in 2019. And yeah, we're still going strong. Going to have the Squatch Out coming up soon. If you want to become a member of Manimal, we'd love to talk to you about that. If you are having activity on your property and need someone to come and check it out, please let us know. You can do that at manimalresearch.org. All righty. All of that up out the way. Thank you guys so much for the amazing questions, the amazing comments, everything you guys do. I appreciate it so very much. I love each and every one of you. Thank you all for everything. And as always, as we get up out of here, please, everyone out there, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Bye.